Hello, so our presentation is going to be about personality clash and miscommunications. And this presentation was done by Marcella, Darlene, Journey, and me, Andrew. For the workplace is going to take place at Subway, and for the problems that occurred are going to be personality clash between coworkers, which is going to be unorganized versus organized, aggressive loud versus calm and timid, risk taker versus rule follower, and another problem is going to be miscommunication, which is going to be competitive interrupting, indifference, controlling, role conflict, sarcasticness in a rude manner, rude body language, and this is a story told by Marcella, which happened at her workplace, and we also changed the names of the people there. And for Works Cited, the first link is going to be about how to effectively manage the talkative and silent members of a group. And for the second link, it's going to be about compromising when compromise is hard. And for the third link, it's going to be 7 secrets for better compromises in the workplace.
Hi, I'm Darlene. I'm from the group Space Mountain, and on my slide, I'm going to be talking about organized versus messy personalities. So we have Emily, who is the organized. She is always early to work, goes by the schedule, cleans everything. She's work, 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 work. Versus John, the messy personality. He's always late, never goes by the schedule, leaves dirty dishes around for her to clean, or he's just not really doing the work as fast as he should be doing it. Because of this, Emily doesn't really like John. She thinks he's super lazy, leaves the dirty dishes around for her to do, so that's more work for her to do. And his body language, every time when she tries to tell him, his body language gives her the idea that he doesn't really care what she thinks. So that's one of the main reasons why she doesn't like him, even though they have to work together. Versus John, he doesn't like Emily because the way she gives him the comments that she makes is always either sarcasm or in a high tone of voice, making it sound like she's bossing him around, and he feels that way. He feels like she's bossy, or he feels like she's always right and she can never do no wrong. So every time when he leaves a dirty dish out and he leaves it out, she'll make a sarcasm comment saying, "Oh wow, look how sparkly clean that dish is," making him feel like he has to do it by force now. Versus her, every time when she tells him, "Clean the dish because it's dirty," in like a rude way, he rolls his eyes at her. So she thinks, okay, he doesn't care what I think. So in this situation, it shows up about body language and the sarcasm in both of them. In my solution slide, for me, I feel like they should just have a calm conversation with one another and state how they feel. For example, John could tell Emily, the way you tell me things is in a tone of voice where I feel like you're either barking orders at me or that I'm wrong. And Emily can say to John, like, okay, well, every time when you roll your eyes at me, I feel like you don't care about what I have to say. And they can both come into a compromise. They can both say, okay, if you wash the dishes, I'll take out the trash. Or if you'll take out the trash, I'll wash the dishes. Stuff like that. They can both half and half the work. That way he can have his break and she can have her clean, organized space. That's all it for my slide. I hope you enjoyed it. My group will talk about their slide. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Journey, and today I will be discussing aggressive versus calm personality. So, we have Olivia, who is aggressive when she communicates. She always points out the work schedule and uses a telling technique style to get her point across to other employees. She also tends to dominate conversations and rarely let others express themselves. And then we have Jared, who is calm and has a social loafer mentality. He frequently comes into work late and puts little effort into his task and just doesn't like being told what to do. In this situation, conflict is occurring because Jared doesn't like being pestered and feels like Olivia is too controlling. And then we have Olivia, who dislikes the lack of effort Jared puts into his task because then she has to take charge of his responsibility and make sure the task is done. A solution to this problem would be Olivia and Jared could settle the issue by understanding one another's work styles. Olivia can take initiative and direct Jared in the right direction. From there, they both should be able to complete tasks. And Jared can voice his opinion to Olivia about controlling behavior. They can have their manager there to mediate the conversation so the situation won't get out of control. After hearing out Jared's argument, she can practice acceptance. Olivia practicing acceptance will help her become stress free because she wouldn't be worrying about if everyone else is getting their task done and she doesn't have to worry about taking over their task and completing it for them.
Another problem in the workplace is that James doesn't like following all of the rules, and he tends to break them a lot. Nicole, on the other hand, is the complete opposite of James. She doesn't like risking anything, and she likes following all of the rules. One of the problems that James has created is that he doesn't like to follow the work schedule. He tends to get to work late very often, and he likes staying overtime a lot, even when he's not supposed to. This affects all of his coworkers' schedules because his actions forces the manager to take away hours from the other employees, since there's only a certain amount of hours that she can give them weekly. A problem that Nicole has created is that she likes to follow all of the rules, and when she sees that her coworkers aren't following the rules, she starts to nag them. And all of the nagging creates arguments between her and her coworkers, and it creates a very hostile and negative energy at work. She doesn't like to improvise or get creative and think outside of the box when a problem arises, which creates a problem all on its own. In this situation, James is being egocentric and he only thinks about himself without caring about how his actions affect everyone else. He only cares about how his actions benefit him. Nicole is the complete opposite of James, and their personalities clash, and it creates a problem when they work together. James and Nicole can try to come to an understanding of each other and why they think the way that they do and try to understand each other a little better. James and Nicole could compromise with one another. They can sit down and talk to try to understand each other's viewpoints. When it comes down to finding a solution, they don't have to completely agree with one another, but they just need a sort of understanding to come up with a final decision.